Hey guys, Outcast here. Today we're taking a look at Timberborn. This is a post-apocalyptic city builder featuring beavers. And if you would like to see my playthrough, or my first attempt at a playthrough of the game, I will put a link in the description and maybe a card up in the top right hand corner of the video, right around now. That will link to my other channel where I played through it. Anyway, I'm going to just give you a little overview of where I am now and what I think of the game. This is currently in closed beta. It is expected to be released into early access on Steam in the next few months. We'll see. Hopefully that goes ahead according to plan. I mean, it seems pretty good, but it does need some quality of life improvements, I think. I didn't run into any major bugs, but definitely some things that take a lot of trial and error because there is no tutorial whatsoever. So first of all, let me just show you what I've done. So we've built this this area. This is basically your starting area right here. This thing is your sort of your base. It's a builder's hut on top of a warehouse with a couple of planks and things, some stairs, and a lumberjack flag, pretty much. I think that's pretty much everything. All these components can be built separately. For example, I have a lumberjack flag by itself right there. I've got a warehouse by itself right there. And I've got a builder's hut right there. Right, so all of those are basically just stacked on top of each other here into like a starter area, you know, like your town hall kind of thing. So what happens here, you've got this river running down here, and every few days, couple of weeks, a drought comes and the water dries up. So what you need to do, basically what I started doing, is using a levee like this. You can use the dam, but it only works for a short period of time. It actually lets some of the water pass through. Levees completely block the water, but you do have to unlock this with tech. So I use that, and I basically just build it right there, and that closes off this little section here, which keeps enough water for all of this area to stay fertile, pretty much down to about here on these fields. So all these fields, this is wheat field up here, there's potatoes, these are carrots, and blueberry bushes here. All of these stay watered right through the drought. Then I started doing it for this, and basically blocking off this entire section of river. And then finally, down here, this is where it all lets out, and I built a wall across here. So right now we've got the wet season, so it's all flooded over here, but when it goes to the dry season, only this section has water. And normally, if you didn't have this wall here damming that up, only this little puddle would be left on the entire map. That would be the only water at all. So this kind of helps me to continue to... I don't actually have any water pumps in here, but these water pumps continue to work when this is closed off, and if I had any water pumps along right here, they would work. I did have one. I originally built one here, but I realized once this drops a level, it can't actually pump anything out of there. So okay, so that is pretty much what I've built. The one thing that I did have some problems with, this is metal. These are like ruins of human civilization years back. So this is a scavenger hut, which will collect metal from this, but there's no way to actually select which metal you want harvested. Like, they do have managed tree cutting areas, for example. So I actually highlighted that. Didn't actually do any good. But like normally when you want to highlight an area that you want to cut trees down, you can see all these places, that place that had trees, this place that had trees, all these places are highlighted. So it'd be nice to have something like that for highlighting something when you want to collect metal from an area. So that's one suggestion I would like to see added. There's also another thing that's we definitely need is tooltips. It shows what all these things do, hovering over buildings and your beavers and stuff, so that you can see all this stuff just by hovering would be really nice. And another thing we need is a page that lists all of your beavers, so you can see, you know, how old they are, how satisfied they are with all their needs and stuff. As you can see, I've satisfied most of their needs, but left some things still out. So those are a couple of things I'd like to see done for the release. Other than that, most things worked pretty well. It was a little bit difficult to figure out how to get them to transfer things from one warehouse, like this is a large warehouse, to a small warehouse, to get them to transfer stuff. For example, I wanted, and I'll show you this in just a second, I wanted, all of these are dynamite, all things of dynamite. So I wanted to build these here, but I couldn't get any dynamite here into this warehouse. There's a bunch of dynamite sitting in this one, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to transfer. So I had to try a bunch of different things, like I eventually turned explosives off so this one would not accept any. And then it starts basically emptying them. So then they moved it over to here. And I think that was far enough along that the builders from this one started carrying some of them over here as well. So a little bit of trial and error. There would be nice if you could, like, if there's a way to specify exactly where you want things transferred to. I don't know if that's possible, but it would definitely make, it's a little bit more micromanagement, but it'd be easier to distribute your goods sort of the way you want it. So one of the features of this game is the ability to control the water, right? So like I said, you can dam this up. I was damming that up to keep the water there, damming this up to keep the water here, that sort of thing, right? You can also obviously build dams, or like use dams, these levee pieces, to build like walls to keep water from flooding into different areas. Like for example, if I wanted to build a wall the next level up all the way across here so it floods the next plane, right? So it goes up to here, that would also flood over here, and that's basically where my base is. So if I build a wall all the way along to kind of protect this, I could do that. Build a massive levee all along my city, just like we do today in cities all over the world. So you could do that. The other thing you can do is blow holes in the landscape to direct water where you want. And that is what I did with this. Let's go to actual speed. There we go. There we go. And now the water is going through our little channel there. Speed it up a little bit. I was going to fill this hole, and that will, as you can see, where the water is, it spreads the green a little bit further. It should fill this completely up and flood into the next section, and then that'll be it, because this is one level below this level, below the level over here, but it has to fill this hole up first. Just let that do that. There you go. Now the green spreads a little bit further, and now we're into nighttime, and then this will balance out in a minute. Now, I guess what you could do when the next dry season comes is you could build a levee here and prevent the water from coming back out. It will eventually dry up, because this won't just stay full indefinitely. It has to be replenished. So actually what I'm going to do is just fast forward to the next dry season. Okay, so the next dry season is coming up, so let's build a levee across here. And then we're going to see what happens when this comes down. So this should stay full, and this should also stay full if we can build the stuff in time. Same thing down here. Now the tricky part about this, instead of just, if you built this right now, it would just flood this entire area if you close this off. So you want to try and time it so that you have, let's go ahead and build one there. You want to try to time it so that it's full, but not too full. I think I might have waited just a little bit too long. It's also the next day, so I mean the dry season has actually begun already. So now it's going to start drying out. If we go over to here, we're going to see this is going to dry out. The water slows down and then starts dropping. There, I think it's starting to slow a little bit. Also, our water wheels will stop. There you got one up. This one's already up. That one's going to be up in a second. That's slowing way down. And now it's going to start drying out from here. There we go. So that's coming down here. So we're going to check out what happens when it reaches this. Okay, there you go. That is slowly drying out that area. So this is all stopped up. This part's dry, and this part has now, the flooding has dropped back all the way back to the main river and the sort of lake area here. So normally this would dry all the way out and you'd only have that little bit there. But it looks like everything worked out okay here. This is all dry except for that. So that keeps your, at least these trees are, and some berry bushes are still getting water. So now that is, you can see the dry season carries on for a while. And you have to basically build up enough water and food supplies so that you can get through to the next wet season. And that is pretty much the game. Now, there are a few things that I haven't unlocked, like these monuments, because they require a lot of science points. And I currently still only have one science building over here. So that is pretty much the extent of the game at this stage. Now, you can build on top of things. I haven't done much of that. So you can build, for example, this building is solid, so it's marked as solid up here. So that means you can build buildings on top of it. So I could build, say, you know, a house on top of that warehouse, for example. But you need to build stairs to it. So if I put it like at, say, an angle like that, maybe, or if I put it on top of this house and then had stairs coming in from the back, then you can have like 2 rows like that. You can also build, which one is it? Aesthetics. Under decoration, you have gabled roofs, so you can put a gabled roof on top of the houses, give them kind of a nice look. Just do that, and that will increase the aesthetics of that house. There you go. Whoops. And there you go. Kind of a cute little house. Looks a bit like a log cabin or something like that. So buildings can be built on top of certain buildings, and you can go, I think, 3 levels up, more or less, because you have these. So you got platforms, that's level 1, a double platform, triple platform, and so on, right? So you can unfortunately I can't keep that at that angle, but there you go. Oh wait, it looks like you can actually put a triple on top of other buildings, so you can definitely go higher than 3. Well, there you go. I didn't really spend much time with that because I didn't even use up all the area that I had available to me. But that is Timberborn in its current state. I believe the closed beta ends in a few days, so I don't think I'll actually have access to play the game anymore. And but we are going to have to see how this turns out when it goes into early access. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out in the description, and if you'd like to see me fumble my way through the first hour and a half or so of playing this, you can go and check that out on my other channel. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. We will see you in the next video.